Good evening and welcome to NTA Parliamentary News. I am Rina Obasi. Top stories. Race to leadership of 10th Assembly intensifies as various groups mobilize support for credible leaders.
Impressive resume of Sanijaji places him on a high pedestal from the array of aspirants.
Plus, correspondent on special assignment takes a look at how electorate can hold political leaders accountable after the elections.
This empowerment that legislators do does not come from the funds of the legislator.
Now to the details of the news. To consolidate the achievements recorded in the 8 years of the APC government, some support groups of the party are mobilizing for credible officers in the National Assembly. Correspondent Lami Ali reports that the groups have been interacting with the press as they show support to those eyeing the position of the Speaker in the 10th Assembly. The report.
The Forum of former APC local government chairmen says the 10th House of Representatives requires a Speaker that is committed to the Nigerian project for sustainable growth and development. The Forum canvasses support for a leadership that will complement the executive arm of government for good governance as it expresses support for Mukhtar Aliyu Betara for Speaker of the 10th House of Representatives.
He's a committed party man, a man who has contributed immensely to the growth of APC as a party. This much is evident in overwhelming support he got from the last general election. The degrees of issue in the legislative chambers is legendary and is part for character to lead, carrying everybody along the Federal House of Representatives. Honorable Mukhtar Ahmed Batara is fit for the bid.
The forum adds that Betara Aliyu, with 16 years of experience in the Green Chamber, has demonstrated capacity and competence. Meanwhile, Initiative for Credible Leadership is aligning with the ambition of Aminu Sani Jaji, a member-elect from Zamfara State, as he makes a go for the position of House Speaker.
The impressive resume of Sani Jaji places him on a high pedestal from the array of aspirants that have indicated an interest in the speakership position. His Pan-African nature also confers him a unique advantage in bringing all parties to the table in the interest of the common good.
They describe Jaji as an advocate of good governance and a bridge builder. In another development, the only female APC member of the House of Representatives vying to become the Speaker, Miriam Onoha, says there is need to have the female gender in Nigeria's protocol list.
My emergence will create opportunities for National Assembly stakeholders' engagement to provide access to public participation in the lawmaking process, thereby reducing the situation where the House is seen to be shredded with so much secrecy without the inclusion of the interest and opinion of the Nigerian people, which is one of our core purposes of existence. The emergency of the dwindling number of women in Parliament calls for a deliberate action, an action that will bridge the gender gap, an action that is a call for the leadership of the National Assembly to embrace the stance for a woman of competence and experience like myself.
Miriam represents Unimu Isialambano Okigwe Federal Constituency of Imo State. Lami Ali, NTA News.
The former governor of Nasarawa State and now senator representing Nasarawa South Senatorial District, Senator Tanko Omaru Amakura, says Nigerian politics required an empirical approach that will explore a standard style of unity and progressive politics in the country. This was while responding to questions by the National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu in a program known as the Legislature of the Week.
Being the youth leader of the National Party of Nigeria, NPN, during the Second Republic in the Old Plateau State, the Secretary of the National Republican Convention NRC Party from 1990 to 1992, and a House of Representatives member representing life here. How will you compare the country's democracy of those days and the one that we are practicing now?
Thank you for that question. I think it will give an insight into the trajectory of political evolution in the country. And for the young ones that are listening to this program, they will have some kind of an idea of how the politics of this country metamorphosed from what one could call analog politics, where it was a very simple way of doing things, and how it has evolved into what I call digital politics now. At that point in time, maybe from 1979, people were embarking on pursuits politically for very genuine reasons. You find people who have made their marks in their various endeavors were coming to partake in political activities in order to represent their constituents. At that point in time, it wasn't a pecuniary project. It wasn't something that people would expect some kind of material benefits. At that point in time, the philosophy and the mindset of people who partook in such exercise were very genuine and without any recourse to any material benefits. All that one wanted to do at that point in time was to make his contributions and also to see certain dreams, ideas, philosophies that one has harbored in one's mindset became implemented. That is why at that time you could clearly see people's views, ideas manifest in the philosophy they follow. That's why you have the people who were in PRP at that time were more tilted towards communist orientation. You have people who are doing the UPN, have different kind of mindset and what they focus in life. So also those of us who are in the MPN had our own kind of philosophy. However, time has passed and it has become an all-comers game this time around, because if you look at the parties across the board, you don't have a very discerning or identifiable difference in terms of philosophy, ideology, and also programs. Virtually, they appear to be one and the same thing. The only thing that makes the difference is the category of people or the type of people that make up one political party as against another. That, to me, is what now determines the kind of group you wish to go with, rather than the philosophy or ideology that the party professes.
Moving on, the obligation of the electorate does not end after electing leaders into various political offices, but also to hold them accountable to their campaign promises. In this next report, our correspondent takes a look at how the people can hold their political leaders accountable after the elections.
There is no doubt that the 2023 general elections have changed the perception of Nigerians, especially with the level of people's participation.
The question now is, how can this tempo be sustained? And how can the people hold their leaders accountable?
It is a fact that electing political leaders during elections is not the only civic responsibility of Nigerians. They also have the responsibility of following up on the performance of their leaders to ensure that dividends of democracy are delivered. In most cases, The electorates are ignorant of this rule, resulting into poor performance of their political leaders, especially the legislators. For instance, how many Nigerians are aware that execution of constituency projects and empowerment programs by legislators are not personal gestures, but from federal and state governments' budgetary provisions?
This empowerment that legislators do does not come from the funds of the legislator. In the budget, there is always provision for a senator. The money is not given to them cash. It is put for a project or from empowerment program. What you are expected to do is that the relevant institution or ministry that is custodying the fund will perhaps issue contract or papers for people to supply other motorcycles or wheelbarrow or computers or something, and it is supplied. And the legislator just comes to preside over the supply of those things to persons that he has nominated. So ask your legislators to account for some of these things, you know.
Stakeholders insist that electorates should ensure that their leaders are performing through regular constituency meetings with their representatives.
Don't elect him and let him just go, and then you abandon, and then he comes back in 4 years and seek your mandate. What the public and the representatives will do is to make sure that every 6 months, when he's briefing, let him say what he's been able to attract, what is in the pipeline, how many people will he be able to employ.
Thank God for the social media, on one hand. Thank God for you, the media. So we must use every available and appropriate channel to ask political leaders questions, to demand for answers, and to ensure that those answers are given.
We have come to the right level where we can begin to bring up these issues to the front burner of public discourse so that people can know that calling your representatives to question, calling them to answer, making them accountable is as important as having democracy and getting them elected in the first place. So the Constitution provides many ways of going about this, both for the legislature and for the executive.
He also advised governors and lawmakers elect to ensure quality representation in the incoming government or risk being recalled by their constituents.
With that background report, we have a guest in the studio that will speak on the issues. She is a woman of many paths. She is an author, a philanthropist, as well as a presidential aspirant in the 2023 general elections. Join me to welcome Bishop Ife George of Okanse. Madam, you're welcome to the news.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now, how will you describe the concept of constituency projects in modern democracies?
Thank you so much. The concept of constituency projects is critical to national development, and it also helps to alleviate poverty in rural areas and poor infrastructures. So it is critical, and it also helps the democratic dividends to be well circulated in the nooks and crannies of the nation.
Okay. Now, so do you think that the execution of constituency projects in Nigeria conforms to other standards of other advanced democracies?
No, it does not.
Why do you say so? What is responsible?
We are just coming up. You know, what matters here is accountability. Here, our view and concept here in Nigeria is quite different from the well-developed countries, because there they are more patriotic and they have the commoners and the masses in mind for equity and justice and improved development. But sometimes here we think that holding a public office or to represent the people is all about, self. Sometimes we don't have the people at heart. Sometimes we don't even care how they feel. And this is why in the rural area you get more of the poor are many in number, things are not being distributed equally, and this causes a lot of nuisance in the society. So here I think in Nigeria we are coming up. If we can begin to implement, you talk about execution, one can sign, a project could be signed or allocated. Then the most important part of it is the execution. To execute that project appropriately instead of embezzlement. Embezzlement of public funds is our problem. And I hope we need to address this situation.
Okay, finally for you, madam, in your own opinion, what do you think should be done to ensure electors have access to constituency projects, and where these are not delivered, what do you think they should do?
Thank you so much. What I think should be done is, one, to the legalization of constituency development projects and making it part of the federal law. And also, this is the way, that is, to my own opinion, this is how I think that it should get to the appropriate consumers. Now, where it is not done, also, where they couldn't get what they want, they can mount, the constituencies can form a pressure group or liaise with a pressure group to press forward, to pressure the leaders to do what they're supposed to do.
All right. Thank you so much, Bishop Ife George of Okansi. Thanks for coming on our news.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Moving on, the Lagos State House of Assembly will no longer tolerate unilateral appointments made by the state government without recourse to the approval of the Legislative House in line with the constitutional powers. Speaker Lagos State House of Assembly Mashiru Obasa gave the warning at a plenary session in Lagos. Musa Toliat reports.
I don't know in which capacity somebody can have.
The lawmakers demanded to know why the state government has continued to violate Section 186, subsection 2 of the Constitution, which mandates the Assembly to screen nominees before being appointed by the government. The motion was moved under a matter of urgent public importance by the Deputy Majority Leader, Honorable Naim Adams.
As the Chairman, House Committee on Legislative Compliance, I have observed that majority of the boards, appointment to boards and other agencies were not brought, they did not appear before this noble House of Assembly.
Some lawmakers see the action by the state government as an attempt to usurp the powers of the State Assembly.
If they need to rescind that decision, withdraw those appointments so that we can do things in the right manner. And this House must be respected.
And it is our constitutional right that those people that have collected so much from this state without being cleared should please recover such back to the cover.
Speaker, Lagos House of Assembly, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, however, warns that the Assembly will resist any attempt to put the principle of separation of powers in jeopardy.
It's totally an infraction and a violation of these House laws. And immediately, those that have started receiving salaries should be stopped immediately, and the letter issued to them by the head of service should be withdrawn, pending their appearance before this House.
The House of Assembly resolved to summon the Lagos State Head of Service, the Accountant General, and the Commissioner for Training and Establishment. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
Free maternal and child health care bill passed second reading in Kano State House of Assembly. These and many more will come after this break. Please stay tuned with us.
NTA Parliament is a dedicated 24-hour channel that broadcasts activities of the Nigerian Senate, Federal House of Representatives, and all the 36 state houses of assembly. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
Welcome back. In case you are just joining us, we are on NTA Parliamentary News coming to you. The Oyo State House of Assembly has confirmed Justice Iyabo Yerima as the substantive Chief Judge of the state. This was at the plenary presided over by the Deputy Speaker Abiodun Fadeyi on Wednesday. Correspondent Oyeyika Omole reports on this and other proceedings of the House.
Screened by the House Committee on Public Petition and Judiciary, Justice Iyabo Shubulade Yerima appeared before the House.
Part of the passion I have for the judiciary is the restoration of not only the dignity of the judiciary, but the infrastructure.
The committee, in its report, presented by the chairman, recommended her confirmation.
Appointed and hereby recommend for the approval of the House that Honorable Justice Iyabo Shubulade Yerima nomination be confirmed.
Some members of the House, in their various contributions, were unanimous on the good track records of Justice Yerima, who has been in acting capacity since January 2023, when the former Chief Judge bowed out of service. The House thereafter confirmed her appointment as the substantive Chief Judge of Oyo State. Born on September 8, 1958, to the family of Akinloye in Ibadan, Justice Yerima was sworn in as a judge of the High Court of Oyo State in June 2001. Moving ahead, 3 bills passed second reading at the proceeding, which are Haulage Tax Amendment Bill 2023, Bureau of Physical Planning and Development Control Bill 2023, and Destruction of Public Property Prohibition Bill 2023. The bills were forwarded to relevant House committees for further consideration. The House is to reconvene on Tuesday, 18th April 2023. In Ibadan, Oyeyinka Omole, NTA News.
The Kano State Free Maternal and Child Health Care Bill 2022 has passed the second reading at the State Assembly this Wednesday, alongside adoption of a report on Child's Right Protection Bill 2022 by the Committee on Women Affairs. Samira Hamisu reports that the House has also considered 3 other bills for first reading.
The 3 new bills that scaled through the first reading are Kano State Rural Access Road Agency Bill, Kano State Road Funds Bill 2022, and the Sectional Systematic Land Titling and Registration Bill 2022. The Free Maternal and Child Health Care Bill, which passed the second reading, is a private member bill co-sponsored by Representatives Bagaji Ahir Zarewa and his counterpart from Take Musa Ali Kachaku. It is aimed at giving a legal backing to the free maternal and child care services in the state, thereby making it more effective and efficient.
To address the major cost of mortality and morbidity among women and children in the State by providing access to essential health care to pregnant women and children under 5 years, as already contained in the Kano State Executive Order of 2001, which this bill will seek to enforce. The free maternal and child health care is seek to prevent future or reversal abortion, abolition of the jails already attending the implementation of the program under the Executive Order which was established in 2001.
Very good welcome idea, because as he mentioned by the presenter, it was done around 2021 as a law and as an order, and of course it was well implemented and it really brings so many advantages, especially to the masses.
Meanwhile, the Committee on Women Affairs, chaired by Representative Kabiru Hassan Dashi, took its turn to present its findings on the Child Rights Bill 2020, which has been passing the corridors of the State Assembly since December 2020 because of its sensitive contents. The committee had to seek the opinion of relevant stakeholders before coming up with the findings.
Amendment to the draft should be incorporated into the bill. Number 3, that the private orphanage home should be defined as the interpretation section. Number 4, that Children Protection Implementation Committee should be established and incorporated in the draft bill.
In another development, the House has also approved the report of its Committee on Election Matters on the appointment of Balaraba Hassan Karai as full-time member of the state electoral body. From the Kano State House of Assembly, Samira Hamisu Shara, NTA News.
Residents of Benin Kebbi and Kago in Kebbi State, where supplementary elections are to hold on Saturday, have expressed readiness to exercise their franchise peacefully. Correspondent Mohammed Bawa has more.
On Saturday, the 15th of April 2023, supplementary elections will be conducted at some polling units in 20 out of the 21 local government areas of Kebbi State, where the last governorship, Senate, House of Representatives, and State House of Assembly elections were declared inconclusive. NTA News spoke with some residents of these areas on their level of preparedness for the elections come this Saturday.
But inshallah, as I told you earlier, we prepared and we are going to cast our vote. We come all out and vote for our right.
We are ready to come out en masse to cast our votes. We are just waiting for the day. There is no doubt we are coming out to vote on Saturday.
They are conscious of the importance of peace in conducting the elections.
People, please try to avoid anything that might cause any trouble or any problem. I beg, please.
There is something that will give you some money or some goods to change your choice. That is bad.
I'm urging every one of us, especially the youth, to conduct themselves that day. We are one family, both APC and PDP, so there is no problem.
The exercise is expected to commence by 8:30 a.m. all over the affected areas and end at 2:20 p.m. except the umpire body INEC says otherwise. In Birnin Kebbi, Abdul Mohammed Bawa, NTA News.
And that's it on our news this evening. Thanks for being part of it. Do join us next week for more. Remember, NTA stands against rape and rapists. You can follow us for more updates on our social media handles scrolling on your screen. Thanks for being part of it. I am Rina Obase. Good evening.